Hey guys, Lonnie, Real Alcoholic. All right, we've completed our step 7. Now we're getting into my most favorite 2 steps of all, the 8th step and the ninth step. That's utter bullshit. People, this is the hardest 2 steps I've ever done. Um and if not done honestly and sincerely, we'll see later that we will drink again. Here's another example that there are certain things in this program of Alcoholics Anonymous we just cannot skirt, we cannot skip, we cannot half measure, especially in this step 8 and 9. Right here, we're going to read, now we need more action, without which we find that faith without works is dead. And our faith without works will lead us to death. Because we'll drink again. And for us to drink is to die. This faith without works, man, let me touch on that real quick. This is not a praying program. This is not a meditation program. This is not a program of great spiritual enlightenment and knowledge of the workings of the universe. Okay? This is a program of works. We actually do. Now, my prayers, my meditations, those things allow me to actually do the work. Those things allow me to get some clarity on what work needs to be done today. Okay, so I am not discounting our prayers, our meditations, our spiritual readings, our investigations, all these things we do to get a better understanding of our higher power and to get closer to God and to understand more about the spiritual realm. Yeah, those things are great, man. It's awesome. But it needs to lead to an actual work, okay? And we always say work, work, work. All right. These promises come true if we work for them. Action, 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 and more action. We work with others. It's action, guys. It's not just thinking. It's not just contemplating. It's not just understanding. We have to actually do this. Okay. Let's take a look at steps 8 and 9. We have a list of all the people we harmed and were willing to make amends. All right. We have this list when we took our inventory. Now here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask since we're looking at this at a different angle, I'm going to ask my sponsees to read these pages, okay? 76 to up to the promises on page 84, okay? That covers steps 8 and 9. I want my guys to read this, read it slowly, highlight some things, ask some questions, okay? And we're going to review this real quick. I don't read it with them verbatim. And what I asked them to do, okay, is go through their 4-step inventory. Not only the names of the people on the resentment list, not only the names of the people on our sex inventory, but if there's anybody else that we forgot about that we feel we have harmed, we're gonna add that. We're gonna add that to this list also. Let's say financial institutions. I didn't have a whole bunch of financial institutions listed in my resentments. They were all in one big group, but I owed some money to some financial institutions, and so I had to list each one of those separately because I'm going to make amends to each one of those separately. All right, so I think you got the idea. We're going to make a list, a new list of everybody that I need to make amends to that I have harmed. All right. And what I asked them to do also is I want them to come up with a plan, okay? Give me a rough idea what's the amends, okay? And come up with a plan of how you're actually going to make this amends. And after you read these pages, you've made your own plan. We are going to go over it. And there's some reasons why we're going to go over it. Okay? So read the book, pages 76 to 84. Make another list of people that we owe amends to, why we owe this amends, and actually how am I going to make this amends. And if you get stumped, don't worry about it. We will talk about it when we get together next time. So my sponsee has their list, and we're going to start going over these pages first. Okay, remember it was agreed at the beginning we would go to any length for victory over alcohol. We need to really start asking that question to our new people from the very beginning. We seem to have gotten away from that. Are you willing to go to any length to recover from alcoholism? And if they say yes, man, we rock on. We go through the steps with them. We go through this book with them. But at certain times, we need to remind them. They start balking at a step 3. They start balking at a step 5. They start balking on this amends. Man, we can remind them, look, bruh, from the very beginning, you were willing to go to any length. And this is part of going to any length to maintain sobriety. Page 77. Talks about, but our man is sure to be impressed with a sincere desire to set right the wrong. Okay, and this right here, we're talking about, we're not running up to people talking about, I've had this great mystical experience and my life has changed. Please forgive me for the shit I did to you, right? They don't want to hear about our mystical experience. They don't want to hear about our spiritual experience. They don't want to hear about Jesus. They don't want to hear about Buddha. They don't want to hear about none of that, man. These people we're going to are interested in a sincere desire to set right the wrong we did. He's going to be more impressed with our demonstration. Once again, a work, okay? Our demonstration of goodwill than our talk of spiritual discoveries. Let's see what else we got. Okay, these couple paragraphs here, man, talks about maybe someone's going to throw us out of their office. Maybe someone's not going to accept our amends. This will happen, guys. They do not have to forgive us. There are some amends that will not and cannot be righted. And we have to be careful. Some people are still pretty pissed at the stuff we did. So we may want to postpone for a little while before we do this amends. We have to use some tact and some sense. But this whole amends is not to repair the past and all of a sudden we're friendly bobbing with everybody that's pissed off at us. This amends is for us to do our part to clean up the past. And hopefully we gain some forgiveness. Most of the time we will. Most of the time these relationships are repaired. Okay? But that's not the goal. That is not the goal. The goal is for us to clean our side of the street and to put ourselves at the service of God and our fellow human being. Our goal is to repair these damages if we can. And we are willing to do that. We must lose our fear of creditors, talking about how we owe money. We must lose our fear of creditors, no matter how far we have to go. For we are liable to drink if we are afraid to face them. Man, this one hit me hard just a few months ago. That's right, I'm almost 4 years sober, bro. I was still dodging creditors. All right? This is a hard step for me. But you know what? I finally lost that fear. I quit answering unknown calls. I started answering known creditors. And I've explained to them my situation. Some of them we have been able to work out some agreements. And some of them just simply put me on hold till next year. I'll get back with you next year. Wow. I didn't know it was that easy, right? So once again, with some tact and some common sense, man, we're going to start facing our creditors. We have to, or we'll drink again. And I'm emphatic about these next couple steps because in the 90s, I made the mistake. I went from step 7, a spiritual, profound spiritual experience, and I started 12 stepping people. My meditations and my prayers were seeking a spiritual high. And I completely missed the implications of steps 9, 10, and 11. And so I ended up drinking again. And that was one of the reasons. I did not, could not, and possibly didn't want to understand or actually do steps 9, 10, and 11. Most important, faith without works is dead. So we have to face up to these, even our creditors. All right, here's another big one. Perhaps we committed a criminal offense. Some of us have criminal charges we might be facing. Some of us, nobody knows about this offense, but if they know about it, it could be a criminal charge. Okay? It's a common problem for us. Now, they talk about reparations. That's a good word. The reparation is to repair. We're trying to repair the damage we had caused. Now, these criminal offenses, we may lose our position or reputation or face jail, but we are willing. We have to be. We must not shrink at anything. Got to think about this, guys. Am I willing to go to jail? Because I decided to go to any length to find a spiritual experience. So we're going to ask God to give us the strength and the direction to do the right thing. Now, we're not going to be a hasty martyr, all right? We're not just going to sacrifice our others to save ourselves. We're going to pray about this. We're going to talk about it. We're going to come up with a plan. All right. We're not just going to run up to the judge and say, here I am. That would be most impressive. Okay. Now, on going to jail and these criminal issues and these, I may have a criminal record now. All right. We, Alcoholics Anonymous, thought that this person ought to be willing to do that if necessary. Right? So what they did was they came up with a plan. They wrote this wife a letter, and he implied that he wants to pay some money. All right? In that letter, he said he was perfectly willing to go to jail if she insisted. We have to be willing, guys. All this bullshit about, well, it says if it's going to hurt myself and others, that I don't have to do it. I don't read that in the book. I read it. If it's going to hurt me, I need to be willing. Now, once again, we need some common sense. We need some tact. We're not playing the martyr here, but I am not going to avoid. I personally was in a situation like this, and we do not avoid an amends because we are afraid or do not want to go to jail. That's the bottom line. Get with your sponsors on each individual situation. Here's where it tells us that before taking drastic action, that might implicate other people, we secure their consent. Okay? If we have obtained permission, if we have consulted with others, if we have asked God to help, and the drastic step, meaning I might go to jail, I might have to bring this amends up and face a criminal charge and possible jail time, maybe some parole, whatever it might be, we must not shrink. But remember, we're going to counsel with others, guys, and we're going to pray. Okay? We are not to play the martyr, but we do not shrink on any of these amends. So after consulting with his wife and partner, and probably some AA people too, all right, this guy decided that it was better to take those risks than to stand before his creator guilty of such ruinous slander. This is what it's all about. I'm trying to form a relationship with my creator so that I can have a better relationship with other human beings. Okay? So this is all about that in the final run, in the end all totality of things, is I'm cleaning house with my creator. Whether these people forgive me or not, whether I can actually repair some of these past doings, that's not my job either. Okay? My job is to be willing, my job is to do the work. And what this does is I can stand before my creator. It clears this path. It keeps removing these things that are blocking me from my creator. I no longer have to shrink. I can look the world in the eye. I can have some courage. Okay, we're talking about some marital issues here. All right. We don't want to go into details with our partners about extramarital or extracurricular sex that we've had that wasn't with our partner. If they suspect it, man, once again, we want to use some tact. We undoubtedly, okay, if they suspect it, we should admit our fault. If we know we have caused jealousy and suspicion, like what we did in our sex inventory, we must admit our fault. Okay? We're going to leave out this other person entirely. Once again, with tact, with some common sense. All right? We are going to repair this jealousy that we cause, this suspicion that we cause, this bitterness that we cause. We are going to admit our faults on that. And you let the chips fall where they may. We don't run the show anymore. God's in charge of all of this. Now, some couples, all right, and even some resentments, in a loving kindness, it might be best just to let bygones be bygones. We both know what we did to each other. Maybe we shouldn't rehash it. Maybe we shouldn't go into detail. Each might pray about it, having the other one's happiness utmost in mind. Once again, some prayer and some tact. Okay, sometimes we hear an alcoholic say the only thing he needs to do is to keep sober. Not true. We cannot come out of this storm, okay, like the example given, and just say, well, I'm sober now. Alcohol made me do a lot of dumb shit. Now that I'm sober, I'm not going to do those things anymore. I'm just such a wonderful person. No, we can't tell ourselves that, guys. We have hurt lots of people. We have to make these amends. And this remorseful mumbling that we're sorry is not going to fit the bill at all. They're more interested in our behaviors, all right? They want a demonstration of our change of life, not just some words. There may be some wrongs we can never fully right. We're going to go over those with our sponsors. And these promises, the last thing I want to touch on is these promises. You're going to notice, read these carefully, not a single one of them talk about a material progress. Every single one of these promises is an inside job. My peace of mind, my contentment within myself, all right? It's not promising me jobs, wives, cars, houses, good families. It's not promising me good health, It's not promising me a good career, good social status. Every single one of these promises is about my internal perception to life, that I will have some peace and I will have some serenity, and I will know this peace and this serenity. Great, guys. I know that was real quick. So what I want to do now is I ask my sponsees after we talked about it. Okay, this is what my sponsor did with me. After we talk about it and we come up with a plan, I'm going to separate these things into 3 different index cards, 3 different sets of index cards, a now, a later, and a future. Okay, the nows, that would be things like, okay, financially, I owe this bank. So I owe them $20. I got that. I'm going to pay that now. Get that out the way. I'm going to stick with my family, my boss, my best friends, maybe my neighbors, those close to me, man. Those are some examples of some nows. If you notice, this is an example of a now. I have done all my nows from my inventory that I did almost 4 years ago. I still have some remainders, man, from that inventory. I got these laters, okay? This one is done. Normally I throw them away once they're done, but I just noticed that this one is done. All right, this person, I beat her. I used drugs with her. I couldn't keep a job. I talked bad about her. I talked bad about her people. All right, so my amends was to have a long talk, express my mental state of alcoholism during that relationship. Don't blame being drunk for my behavior. Express my character defect, my mental state, all right? And that I've had a change of heart. And I don't want to make light of the past, okay? This situation happened 30 years ago, all right? I am not going to make light of it just because it was 30 years ago. I'm not going to make light of it because I'm over this person. I hurt this person. I damaged them, okay? Excuse me, guys. That is nothing to make light of. And on every single amends, when we talk to these people, we're going to include, what can I do to make this right? And we let them answer. We don't give a suggestion of what we're going to do to make it right. What can I do to make this right? We let them answer. And then we will do our utmost to fulfill that, to make it right. We got these futures, man. These are the ones that, man, I really don't know when or how I'm going to get to these. All right. So I got this one person here. I used her for money while I was locked up. I really don't know what I owe her. 500, 1,000, something I definitely can't pay right now. So we worked out an amends. She is remarried. So that's a touchy situation I have to be careful of. When I have the money, we decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to send her a letter with a check in it. And that is going to be my amends for this one. Something that I still need to do. I'm still working on it. I've got quite a few futures. I got quite a few financial amends that still need to be made. I'm making some of them, but there's still some that need to be made. And it is so important we clean our side of the street. Dr. Bob kept it simple. He said, clean house. Trust God, clean house, and help others. Okay, this cleaning house part, our 9th step is vital to cleaning house, cleaning our side of the street so that we can stand before our Creator with a clean conscience and go about His work. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Sorry that was so fast. Thank you. And we will jump into step 10 right away. All right, people. Take it easy. Bye-bye.